a lot of people were commenting on your videos that Wall World is too similar to Dome Keeper. It's like a ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see, like, if you watch like 10 minutes of a video, you could think that.
Oh, yeah.
But having played 90 hours of Dome Keeper and finishing Wall World.
90 hours, yeah.
It's like any game. There are inspirations that it took from, Wall World, Dome Keeper, like Terraria, any other digging game, exploration game, wave defense game, tower defense games.
Yeah.
It's not a ripoff. Like, all of the art's original, they had to code the whole game. It plays differently. The only way that it's similar is you're mining stuff, collecting resources, bringing it back to a base, upgrading the base, and then killing enemies that come in.
Yeah. I 100%
at different periods of time. Yeah.
So
that's it, though.
I will say, even if you play like an hour or two, I could see people feeling like, yeah, this is Dome Keeper, but sideways. That's the comment that you saw so much, and you're gonna pop them up on screen here. Boop boop boop. And
am I?
Yeah, and you have to track it to my finger now.
You're overestimating my editing skills.
Am I? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, no, okay, fine.
But I can see obviously the similarities. Like, yes, you're drilling, you're mining, you're bringing things back, and you're upgrading stuff, and you have a dome. But this dome moves. There is progression between runs, whereas in Dome Keeper there is
some progression between runs, but it's more
when you
larger
first start
versions of the same thing.
Exactly. You're unlocking different modifiers. You're unlocking
bigger maps,
different gadgets. Like when you start, I think you have not even two gadgets. You might only have the laser beam.
That's true. Yeah.
So you get the sword, and then that changes your
dome.
thing, and then you start to mess with different combinations of the sword and the gadget, like the orchard and the shield and all that stuff.
That's true. So the meta progression is more similar than I originally thought, because you, like in Wall World, you are doing the same thing. You get like the blueprints.
Yeah, but I disagree that it's similar.
They're like kind of like gadgets.
Because in Wall World, you have a choice of what to spend your money on. And in Dome Keeper, it's just keep going until something kind of happens. And it's a different way. It's a different feeling of unlocking stuff. It's more of like a surprise. Whereas in Wall World, I'm every run making sure that I get meta money or shinies or whatever. And I'm looking forward to like, okay, now I want to unlock this. Now I want to unlock this. And then you find the blueprints. And I feel like that system is very smart. It's very cool to just be looking for stuff. All of a sudden you find like a blueprint room. You're like, sick, what is this? You go back to your base. You get to do the blueprint. Like, that is very satisfying to me. And it makes it so that there is a push-pull of trying to explore a lot because you want to find meta upgrades. But also you want to get through the mine as quickly as possible. Exactly.
So you can get to the next mine, because you want to go. I'm sure, like, you've noticed that the further you go from the central cloud area, the more advanced the resource, right? You get like a different set of resources. So you want to keep moving.
I feel like Wall World is more, for lack of a better term, linear in nature for its story and its progression. You're every run that you're doing in Wall World, you're learning new things. And when you go in there blind for the first time, never playing it, it takes forever to do anything, right? And then you start getting these extra unlocks. And then you start exploring. Okay, I'm going to go north. What happens there? Oh, that's cool. There's all these minerals here, but like I can't do anything with these. So the thing that you learn over time, this is a potential spoiler if people are listening. So you have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. What you learn over time is different minerals are in fact clustered in the same locations. Like, you want to start in the middle, then you go south and you find...
Okay, I call them... 1 is the layer above, first layer above the cloud. -1 is the first layer below.
Sure. Okay. So if we're starting at 0, you're going -1, and you're finding like emeralds, you're finding the blues. And and you're finding what I call them the titanium balls.
I was calling them ball bearings.
Ball bearings or titanium. Yeah. So
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that we came up with different names for.
So those,
because they don't really tell you what the resources are called. Some of them are named.
Yeah.
But most of them aren't.
I wish. We had to fix that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So -1, you get into your emeralds, right, which is good for your early game healing and stuff. -2, you get more into the titaniums, and I feel like you need those titaniums. You need probably about, depending on how many weapons you find, you probably need 30 or 40 titaniums, but you probably don't need to spend time finding all of them.
You also need the emerald to upgrade your mining.
Yes.
And then you need the titanium to upgrade the mining to the next level.
Yes.
As well. So not only are you getting those resources to upgrade mining so you can mine faster, so you can move through the world faster up and down.
Yes.
You also needed to upgrade your weapons so you could survive.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we won't go through the whole pattern, but what I was discovering is that if you go down to -3, you get into those, I call them the eyeballs. You know what I'm talking about? The pale ones?
Oh, the Metroids.
Sure. So,
because I was saying the game is also like too much like Metroid because it has a thing that looks like a Metroid.
Yeah, exactly. What a ripoff.
I know, just blatant copy.
So I was finding I would go down to -3 sometimes, and I actually don't mind that because you can get the huge. Like, I like to save for all of my my repair boosts or my repair efficiencies as much as I can. So when I can max out the repair efficiencies, which I think uses the titaniums, that makes those eyeballs or the Metroids very strong. And so
I didn't even know. I got really far in a run. Like I figured out the efficient path to go down to like get my mining up and like where the resources were. And I got down there and I got those eyeballs and I died.
Yeah.
And it's because it's the first time I had gotten them. I did not realize that they were repair material.
Yes.
So I had like 20 of them in my inventory and I could have repaired.
Bro.
But I just didn't.
I did the exact same thing.
I just didn't even notice.
And I got this comment and this comment and this comment.
I got that comment. Much time.
But I also, to be fair, I also died at one point because I just didn't use any repairs because I was so overwhelmed with all the stuff I was taking. I didn't repair at all. And I was like, oh, I died with
that happened to me too.
20 emeralds or whatever. So anyways.
I think it's obvious that it just plays like, because we both played those games so much, it feels so different from Domekeeper. Like I even went back to play Domekeeper after I finished Wall World, and I'm like, enjoying it just as much, just in a different way, because it's way more session based. Yeah, like you said, Wall World is it's a narrative that you play through. It's a linear game. It is set into runs, but you are progressing linearly. Whereas Domekeeper, you just come up with a challenge after you've unlocked everything. Come up with a challenge and then try to complete the level. Yeah, using that challenge.
I feel like
it's just single runs.
When you're done Wall World, you're done. I think going back to the original point of, is Wall World Domekeeper but sideways? Like, not even close. No. It's not. It's even
just close. Inspired by. It's an evolution. It's someone that I don't know if they saw like an early build. I'd be curious to find out. Maybe they saw the concept and were like, "Oh, this is cool. I'd like to do something similar." Or if they just came up with these ideas totally independently, because that can happen also.
It's funny how that works in game design. Like, well, maybe not from game design perspective, but from games that are releasing. You'll see like a batch of 3 games that release, and they're all kind of like the same, and it's weird. I can't think of another example, but it has happened numerous times. So, do you think Wall World marketed itself differently enough from Domekeeper?
I never noticed. I didn't see any of the marketing, so I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, there wasn't a ton, but if you just look at like their Steam page, for example, would you say that you look at that and you're immediately like, oh, it's Domekeeper. It's another Domekeeper style, like Domekeeper style game now is like, I think, a thing. Clearly they didn't distinguish enough because not everyone, but there were a lot of first reactions. Yeah. Oh, like, even the people that liked it, they were like, oh, it's another game like Domekeeper. This seems cool. Yeah. They noticed that right away. Yeah. And you
because you see the shape of the spider.
Yeah,
they could make the shape of the spider anything, but they made it a dome, and they made the turret go around the dome.
Yes.
So that just makes people immediately think.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because Dome Keeper isn't. It's not like a big. It's not like it sold like 10 million copies.
Well, how many copies it must have done very well? I think.
I don't know, but it's like what I'm trying to say is it's
not so not everybody's heard of Dome Keeper.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like it's not.
We've heard of it because it did really well on our channels, and we really enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's a weird game to try to copy.
It is, but anyways, I think we're both in agreement, and I'd be curious to hear what other people think that have played the game, not have watched it for 10 minutes, have played the game to realize like it is significantly different.